I've always been a passionate person. I'm passionate about modeling, art, and family. I think I got my love for life from my grandmother. She has always been a lover of God, her family, and fashion. As a child, my brother and I, along with my cousins, would look forward to spending time together with our grandparents. A few years ago, my grandmother was diagnosed with dementia. It has been a very emotional time for myself and my family. As a contestant in this year's Miss Bahamas Universe pageant, my platform is geared toward bringing much needed awareness to dementia and its effects on Bahamian families. I want to assist with raising financial resources to aid in research efforts to fight this condition. Together, we can make a difference.
That was Tarea Bianca Sturrup doing some gardening with her grandmother. Tell us some more about your grandmother.
My grandmother, her name is Myrtle Scavella, and I know that you've probably heard of her name before, but she is an amazing woman. She used to be everything in the book, from a seamstress to a teacher to a political, activist. She was very involved in her church. So she has been an incredible role model for me on who I want to be as a woman, and a role model for other women as well.
Very good, very good. And she loved gardening?
She loves gardening. She actually won a Best Kept Yard Award.
Is that right?
2 years in a row. She won in 2011 and 2012, I think, for her community.
Okay, very good. I wonder if she was a part of Operation Love Your Country. Our media organization had the various contests for people in various areas, and she might have been involved in that as well.
Yes.
Very good. So you try to get her out to participate in doing things such, gardening, and you take her for rides and that kind of
Oh
stuff.
yes, we go out all the time. She's always my passenger, my little partner in crime.
Yeah.
But she loves to hang out with us. She loves to dance. She loves to listen to music. She's very much still a fun-loving person, which is why I advocate so greatly, because dementia isn't the end of a life. They're still very much caring people. They're still very emotional people. So you just have to embrace the good days and really enjoy the time that you have.
Yeah, and you can slow down the progression of dementia by the amount of things that you do over time.
Absolutely. The activities I spoke about that
Yes.
really stimulate the mind really help with the slowing of the progression, because
Yes.
like I said before, the disease, it doesn't regenerate, it doesn't, you can't cure it. So the only thing you can do is slow it down, treat it. If we can bring it to a complete halt, that would be amazing.
And one of the things that we have to talk about is the sedentary lifestyle of people. People who just, they go into retirement and they
it's just
they
on
don't want to
pause.
do anything.
Yeah.
You got to get involved and get involved in Scrabble games and
It literally could
various
be
table games.
the simplest thing. It could be checkers. It could be
Yes.
anything that requires you to focus for more than 10 minutes, and you have a set goal. And once you make that goal, that's an accomplishment for that day.
It's like exercising your brain,
Yes.
keeping it active.
Yes.
Keeping it fresh.
Yes, that is why it is important too for elderly people to read. Read good books, read the newspapers.
Do crossword puzzles, do a word find.
Yes, yes, just to do some mental,
Stretching.
yes, mental stretching, you call it.
Yes.
Mental agility.
Yes.
Keep your minds going, eh?
Is it hereditary at all, or is it just about what you're eating and how you're not exercising your mind and stuff, or is it passed
Well,
through genes?
Through my research, I think it's a little bit of both, and I don't want to overstep my boundary because I'm not a healthcare professional.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, it is a little bit of both. It can really be brought on by anything. Trauma, stress, great loss, a car accident, you hit your head wrong. It really depends, and it can also be hereditary as well.
I think a whole lot of research is still going into it, and physicians tell me that they are spending hundreds of millions of dollars
Yes.
researching dementia and Alzheimer's.
Yes.
There's a fine line between dementia and Alzheimer's, eh?
You can look at it almost as stages. So
Yes.
dementia would be the beginning phase.
Yes.
And then as it progressively, takes over the entire mind, then you would get into the Alzheimer's, which also has stages.
So there are various stages of dementia, and there are various stages of Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's, yes.
And dementia can I am told that people who have other non-communicable diseases like diabetes and hypertension,
Yes.
that it can lead to dementia, eh?
Yes, I'm starting to believe that anything that causes trauma on the mind or anything that may bring a lot of emotional stress can really trigger it. So, for example, in my experience, after my grandmother lost her sister, who she was really, really close to, we noticed a real change in her personality, in how she responded to us. It's little things that can really trigger it, as well as other diseases.
How old was she when the onset of it?
I think it came about fairly later, because I believe, well, I don't want to say her age. Well,
No, don't tell me her age, but
yeah,
when you,
I would say early 70s.
early 70s. Okay,
Yes.
but because there are some people who would have gotten found out that they would have been suffering from dementia even in their 60s.
Right. A lady reached out to me and she said that her mother experienced it from her 40s. So there is no set cap. You just really have to be aware, and there are tests that you can take to check how cognitive you are at whatever age. You can do it from now, you can do it later. You can just go and get a brain scan and you can see what's going on up there.
Yes, yes. Well,
I know a common thing is forgetting where you put your keys, forgetting if you have your glasses. All of these are signs that
Walking into a room and forgetting why you're there.
Yeah, what you came in for. So if we're doing that a lot, then we should look into our diet or our exercise.
Look into definitely making sure you sleep, making sure you do things that de-stress.
yes.
I think it's the buildup of stress. We know stress is really a silent killer almost, because it contributes to almost every disease. So as long as we take the time to really enjoy our lives and embrace every day and with thankfulness, I think that is a really impactful change that you can make.
Sleep is extremely important. Sometimes we underestimate
Yes.
the importance of the amount of sleep that rest that you get. And some people, they pride themselves on not having to sleep. I have some friends who say, well, I only sleep 4 or 5 hours a night. But that is not good.
It's not. Your brain and your entire body really needs time to recharge.
Yes.
Because you're just constantly using these organs, and it's much like, not replacing a tire. It starts to get bald. So you really just have to take that time to recharge.
You've been advocating for dementia awareness for how long now?
It hasn't been just since the pageant.
Okay.
I have actually been very open and very vocal on my experiences with my grandmother on my social media accounts, and it was that support from the people that reached out to me that really inspired me to just go full on with it and put it on a huge platform so that the entire country can be aware.
That's commendable. It's commendable that you're doing that. And are you encouraging your youthful friends to join you?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm always asking people to come with me when I go to the old folks' homes, just to make someone's day, hopefully. I always say that it's very important to embrace your youth, but to also be very mindful how you spend your youth. And that is why I reach out to persons my age, because we are already dealing with the stigma of being young. and
the stigma of being
not
young.
caring about anything other than ourselves, you know? So it's really important to develop a culture of giving back and making it cool.
Yeah, the stigma of being young.
Yes, the millennial stigma, you know?
That you don't have the sensitivity that you ought to have.
All we care about is our phones and, you know.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. It has to do with emotional intelligence as well. And there are a whole lot of people who are book smart and who have 2 degrees and they are into their professions, yes, but
Yes.
do not have the emotional intelligence to deal with these issues, these vagaries of life. And so it is extremely important that young people develop that emotional intelligence to deal with the elderly.
Right.
We in the Bahamas, we can do a better job in dealing with people who are old, the older folk.
Well, I think that the Bahamian society has a long way to go when it comes to being really emphatic in any regard, whether it be for health or for politics or anything, you know. We're very vocal people, we're very opinionated, but at the same time, we should be able to take everything back, view each other as human beings who really need to survive.
Are we a caring society, you think?
In some ways, yes, in some ways, no.
Okay. All right.
I say yes because Bahamians will always look out for other Bahamians, you know, but like I said, after a certain age, we kind of disregard persons. So when someone is very young, you know, we don't trust them. When someone is very old, we think that they're too old. So we kind of have to find the perfect balance where we can really love each other across the board.
Well, I know that a lot of people know, that they could go to a children's home or something and they could buy this list of supplies that the children need and go spend some time with the children. But I think that the old folks' homes is a different kind of a thing where you feel like maybe they don't want company. Maybe we don't want to intrude on these people's families.
Right.
You know, so I think that there is, people are not aware that there's a lot that they could do or that these homes would be so welcoming for you to come into it and spend some time with the elderly.
Right.
So-
It's just a matter of not being afraid to ask. Put yourself out there and find out who is really receptive to visitors. For example, I know that I've had services through Pat's Home, which is Mrs. Moxie's.
Yes, Pat Moxie.
Her old folks home. She is welcome to visitors. However, she does have a list of patients that she wouldn't allow us to see, whether that be because the family just wanted, you know, keep everything private, or whether the person themselves are not receptive to visitors. They may have already decided that, you know, they just want to be alone. But you just have to ask.
Let's talk a little bit about these homes, Tarea, because, you know, in North America, there are, and Europe, there are many homes for the elderly, people, retirement homes. And they can go for long walks and that type thing. And I don't know if we have those type facilities. And while we commend people like Pat Moxie and others, I think the Good Samaritan and the Persis Rogers and all of these other homes in the country, perhaps we need to look beyond these little homes and have retirement villages or retirement complexes, retirement parks, where people are able to go for long walks and participate in various activities, you know?
I would love for something like that to be developed here. Like you said, there is almost a utopian aspect of retirement that we see in other nations, especially America. You know, people are looking forward to going to Florida to retire.
Yes.
Because all they're seeing is sitting on the beach and, you know, playing golf and things like that. If we can develop an amazing retirement facility like that here, that would be completely outstanding.
Yes, yes. I guess we are small and growing.
We're working on it.
We're working on it, perhaps your sensitization of Bahamians on dementia might assist. We have to go through various phases of what is called cultural sensitization.
Right.
Sensitizing people on the needs of the community in various ways.
Yes.
And like I said, it's commendable of you to take this on as a project.
Yeah.
And hopefully you can get other young millennials to get involved.
Hopefully, I really hope that somebody sees the value that our elderly population still holds.
Very good. Let's take another break here on our program. This is our special edition of the platform, and Tarea Bianca Sturrup, our contestant in, I said our contestant in Miss Bahamas Universe pageant. She's our guest. We'll come right back.